Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watch Our Realms. Today we're going to be going over part 2 of Lord Phineas, and it's going to be mostly revolved around taking him into Apocalypse 2 for Semrah. And I want to see how he can control those stuns, if he can do it enough to keep us alive without having Carnelian or Helga on the team. But anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. Okay, so the main focus point is how can he synergize with an Infernal Blast team on Semrah without having anybody like Gary, Lucius, Carnelian, Helga, all those heroes that are going to just kind of like supplement that. And do we now have an option to use an Infernal Blast team on Semrah 2? Now, he is Awakened 3, but I've done quite a bit of extensive testing, and if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. I do have a part 1 where I test him in Guild Boss 1, and his damage doesn't really significantly change when he hits Awaken level 3. The big change here is going to be Awaken level 1, where he adds the burning effect, and then he has the chance of getting that stun increased by 5%, bringing it to a total of 30. This attack does a lot of damage. It's very nice. Now, Awaken 2, you could argue, is a huge benefit because it is going to boost his attack by a lot. But Awaken 3, it's going to help out the other allies more than himself, and 4 and 5, it's just added bonus, and 5 is mostly going to be a lot of Awaken level 5 is going to be mostly RNG. There's a 50% chance, so half for the Viscount's Flame. Now on for the skills here, what am I really focusing on? Well, he does have a lot of damage to work on. So I do need to make sure too that he gets this initial 800% burst damage before he gets locked out by the Lord. So that's very kind of something I really need to pay attention to a lot during the fight. And then on the basic, it's nothing really happening there. But on Blade of Treachery, he does have that stun, and it's lasts for 1 second, but it's enough to trigger that attack down on Semrah. And I'm hoping between him, Hex, and Torador that we can keep those stuns rolling good enough where that Titan Saw just doesn't take out our team. And we're only shooting for 120k, and whatever we get from there is going to be what it is. Now, he also has the ability to increase his penetration by 7% for each burning effect on the target, up to 7 stacks. Now, I do need to change out his artifact, because I'm going to go with a Scarlet Hunt, and I'm going to explain that in a moment. So when we go to team comp, I'm going to explain a little bit more than that, but heals 30% extra damage to targets inflicted with bleed. And we're going to have all of the fighters here, all with a Scarlet Hunt. Now, onto the team composition. I'm running Soul Cadence because Soul Cadence definitely does complement Lord Phineas the best because he does put those burns out. Remember that every single burn that is out on the boss is going to increase his penetration amount. We go to his skills here. I increase his penetration by 7% for each burning effect on the target, up to 7 stacks. Now, for that reason, we do have a lot of heroes that can put up burns. We have Hex that can put up burns. We have Lord Phineas going to put up burns with his basic attack. Zilla2, we all know, can put up a lot of burns. And then we have also Soul Cadence is going to put up some burns. He has the ability to put up burning and increase his damage based on how many burns are on the units, and he's really good at that. Now, in the second area here, I'm going to be running Torador and Twyla because I think it's a really good combination. You could make the argument for Giri, but I really don't like having to use Wailing Skull, and so far from what I've seen, the Aegis Shields is kind of like minute when it comes to this team. We have big vulnerabilities coming from Soul Cadence. We have basically an extreme amount of penetration and a really high attack coming from Phineas. We have Zilla2 just doing DOT damage like you wouldn't believe. And then we have Hex just coming in and just doing what Hex does. Now, the Scarlet Hunt thing. Because we are bringing Twyla, this is going to enable us to bring Scarlet Hunt on all of our fighters because she has the ability to put out bleeds with her Deranged Blade, which actually triggers quite often. And from my very extensive testing of Twyla, he does keep it up pretty much 100% of the time. It's really close. You might see it fall off here and there, but it's not enough for me to not take a Scarlet Hunt on everybody. Now, we do have some really cool synergy going on with this comp. So we do have Hex is going to be helping out Twyla. So another reason why I'm going to bring out Twyla is because Hex and Twyla have a very nice bond skill. So on Twyla's bond skill, it reduces Twyla's first deployment cost by 6. Each time Hex draws a card, Twyla permanently increases crit damage by 5%, up to 60% crit damage. So for that reason, she's going to get her max total damage coming out on the Guild Boss 2. And it's actually kind of an interesting showcase to see finally actually how well Twyla will do with a Hex next to her and having that boost going on, that extra 60% crit damage that lasts permanently. Now, we have Percy for the AoE damage reduction, we have Elwyn for the poison cleanse, and we have Alistair in there for the attack down. Now, Torador is going to be our tank, and we're going to be really careful with how we use and when we use Soul Cadence. Because we need to make sure that these heroes are actually putting out damage when they need to be. I kind of want to hold off his ult in certain situations, like when the Titan Saw is getting ready to charge up. You need to make sure that Phineas can attack. You need to make sure that Hex can attack. All these heroes need to be able to attack. So if he locks them out from attacking, they can't put out the stuns, right? So for that reason, I try to activate Constance, then I go to Zillow 2, Phineas, Hex, and as soon as the Saw stops trying to charge up and we get our stacks, I'll activate Soul Cadence kind of on the end of their ults and on the end of Carnelian's ult. That way, he locks in those attacks and then he can hit the boss really hard with that. It's kind of weird. It's the best way I can think of doing it though. But Torador's going to have stuns. We're going to have stuns coming in from Phineas. We'll have stuns coming in from Hex. So the idea is, can we survive without Helga? And can we survive without Carnelian? At least to make it to that 120k threshold. That's what we're here to find out today. All right, so I think I've done enough talking about it. Let's go ahead and jump into the fight. I'm going to show you how it's set up. I'm going to go through the first 3 phases with you, then I'll go into a timelapse like usual, and then we'll come back with the results. Now, you could argue or make the argument that Zillow 2 could go into a realm tear and be back farther on the tiles. I prefer to put Torador down there, so we're going to put her, everybody, all the other main fighters up here. We're going to go with Twyla right here. I'm going to go ahead and put down Constance right here. I'm going to go ahead and put down Zillow 2 right there. And then we will hit Percy. We're just going to add that AoE damage reduction to units in a range. And then we're going to hit Phineas here. I'm going to go ahead and put down Elwyn. Yep, right here. And then we're going to put Hex here. We're going to put Soul Cadence right here. Alistair here. And Torador here. Now you can notice that Alistair is out of Constance's range. I don't really care about what he's doing. All I'm really having him on the team for is that attack down for us to help keep us alive. Put some Radiant Erosion. He has that true damage. He can do quite a bit of damage without having Constance there. I know it would be nice to have him in there, but I'd rather have Soul Cadence in range, if you were to ask me. So now, starting off here, I'm going to go ahead and activate Twyla. I'll activate, well, nobody else yet. We're just going to wait for the rest of them for now. Now here comes the first Saw. I'm going to go ahead and activate Constance, Zillow 2, Lord Phineas, Alistair, Torador. And as soon as this is done charging up and we get our stacks of whatever we get, then we're going to go ahead and activate Soul Cadence. Let's see how many attack downs we can get. Sometimes it can be a little bit of bad RNG, which it looks like it is right now. We got 3 stacks, 4. Kind of the issue here. So now I'm going to go ahead and activate Soul Cadence. He's going to come in and whack the boss when he's in vulnerable state. Plus he puts the vulnerabilities up there as well. You see the damage is very, very nice. Hitting 6k in that range is very good damage. Now, coming to the next phase, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to activate Twyla one more time here. Get the boss really close. We're just going to kind of keep ourselves alive. I'll hold off on Alistair. Don't really have to worry about it too much quite yet. Just gonna zoom up to the next mode here. Come on. You got this. You got this. Alright, so now, right about 10%, I'm gonna go ahead and activate Constance, Hex, Twyla, Zillow 2, Lord Phineas, Alistair, Torador, and then I'm gonna go ahead and activate Soul Cadence. Just like before, we're gonna hit in that vulnerable state to do a good amount of damage. Like on my global count, I'm only hitting about 10k at this point, and we're looking at 13k right now. Yep, 13k coming to the next phase. It's really good damage. The survivability isn't quite as good. I do know it's going to be an issue later on, trying to keep all these folks alive here. Alistair you can activate whenever you want to. He's not in constant range, so you don't need to worry about it. Just activate him. I'm gonna go ahead and hit Elwyn. I'm gonna hit Soul Cadence right now. A little earlier. We're gonna try to time things a little differently this time. Damage hit Soul Cadence, just mop the floor with them. Perfect. But hit Constance, Twyla. As soon as we can, we're gonna hit Lord Phineas. He's gonna go ahead and whack the boss while he's invulnerable. And bring us right up to about 20k, coming to the next Titan Saw phase. What I'm gonna do here is go ahead and go into a time lapse starting from this point, and I'll see you when I come back with the results. Alright, so I had a little bit of a mishap. We're doing the fight. I think that I didn't time one of the heroes right, but I do know from fire testing that we can get to the 120k, but the 104k is going to serve me pretty well as far as like just wanting to show how this can work. I did top out at 128 before, so I do want you to take note that that's where I was at. Let's check out the damage results here and see how he compared to the rest of them, because that's what we're really after. As far as like theory crafting with teams, that's something that's going to come in the future. We'll do much more. This is something I just came up with today. Now stats, Twyla coming at 244 million. We have Lord Phineas coming in at 220 million damage. That's saying a lot. Now Twyla isn't getting as much as she usually would, so she'd be usually getting like the the Nightmare faction bonus all the way up to 35%. She does get the extra chances for extra hits, and I did make sure that Twyla and Lord Phineas were kind of ulting at the same time, just to make sure that it was equal as possible. Now Twyla is A5 in this. Like I said before, I know that not a lot of extra damage increase comes from the A2 and A3, but the big one is going to be for him is going to be the A1. Now A0, you're probably going to be looking at right around 200 million at this 100k mark. For Apoc 2, we have Soul Cadence coming in at 207 million and Hex coming in at 198 million. Now, Hex and Lord Phineas do a great job as far up to like a, I don't know, Advanced Evolution 3 and 4 probably, as far as taking care of the Titan Saw and making sure that the heroes do not get hurt. It's just a little bit of timing and practice that you'll have to figure out to make that happen. Zilla 2 coming at 93 million, but she's just kind of there for support. I just need to get her to get those burns out there. That's going to help out Lord Phineas for the most part. Everybody else seemed to be doing just fine. I remember what happened in the fight. It was because I was not able to cleanse in time to keep Alistair on the field. And when Alistair dropped off the field, he lost that attack down, and then it just kind of got messed up. Typically doesn't happen, but on the fight that I did prior, pre-testing to doing this video, the issue that I did run into though is that the Titan Saw. I got into that AE4, AE5, I got into Advanced Evolution 4, I believe it was, and it was that Titan Saw that we came into. And it was right around, I want to say 128k mech fragments, and he just starts hitting too hard. You can try to adjust your builds, try to put more HP on them, but as far as the stuns go, they get to about 6 or 7 between the combination of these three, and it's just not enough at that point. You could make it much further by, like I said, increasing their HP. Twyla has really high HP. Lord Phineas has pretty high HP. Hex doesn't really, but you could definitely kind of work something into his kit to make sure that his HP is high enough. Zil 2 has decent HP. These guys all have pretty decent base HP stats that you could work with to try to boost them up a little bit. But anyways, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any more ideas you'd like me to test with Lord Phineas, maybe you got some damage tests. I do find, by the way, that 2 times attack percentage and 1 times crit damage is going to be the best on the right side, and obviously Soulbound Arcana, and you want to run Warlord on the left side for his build. Now, I do want to take just one quick note that I do prefer to have a bleed unit on the team if at all possible. When it comes to Guild Boss 2, it's not really that difficult to manage, but if you can't, you're going to end up having Zilla 2, you're going to want a Willing Skull, and have Lord Phineas, you're going to want an All-Willing Skull, and they're just going to be these little skull dudes all over the place. And trust me, it's not that really a good thing. When they spawn, maybe you need to put a Wood Elf in between the poison phases. It's not really ideal. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep digging.